Okay, so using our formulas, we know that our A value is the -1/8. Our H value here is +1, and our K value here is +3. So we can plot our vertex, which would be 1, 3. That's our vertex. This is a Y, so I like to kind of sketch it out like off to the side, like so I know it's opening down because A is negative, so I know the focus is going to be down below a distance of C. So I need to figure out what C is. So C equals 1 over 4A. 4A is in the denominator, so when you multiply, make sure that -1/8 is all in the denominator there. So we have 1 over, that's -4/8 or -1/2 divided by fractions like multiplying by reciprocals would be 1 times -2 or -2. So C is -2, so I'm going to go down 2 units. Again, I knew it was going to be down below, so that's the focus point. Up 2 units would be my directrix, y equals 5. I'm going to go, since I went down 2, I'm going to go over twice that amount, or 4 to the right, and 4 to the left, so it's 2c in each direction, and I'm going to graph my parabola. Now, I didn't use a lot of formulas. You could have used the formulas, right? So I think the formula for this type of thing, like for the focus point, I think the formula was h comma k plus c, I believe, is the formula. And so if I'd used the formula, I would have said, okay, h is 1, k is 3, c is -2, so plus -2 or -2. And we get the point 1, 1, which is where that focus point is, 1, 1. Right, so you could have used the formula for these, same thing for the directrix, for the shifted formulas, that would have been fine as well. Be careful for this one. So the A value here is 1, right? The K value is first. So in the formula it's y minus k. So k is actually a +3 and the h is a +1. So this is also from the point 1, 3, because it's h, k. H, k is always the vertex. So 1, 3 would be the vertex. So that's my vertex. This A value is positive, it's 1, so this is definitely opening to the right. So my focus point should be to the right of the parabola here. So let's figure out what that distance is. So C equals 1 over 4 times A. A is 1, so C is equal to 1/4. Oh, wow. So this is really tough to do. I mean, I'll try. So it's like 1/4 to the right is my focus point. 1/4 to the left is my, wow, this is really tough. You almost want to change the scale here because 1 unit, it's just too tough to graph that 1/4. So this would be x equals, it looks like 3/4, 1 minus 1/4. And if I go twice 1/4 is 2/4 or 1/2, so I go 1/2 up and make a point, 1/2 down and make a point, and that's my parabola, something like that. That's tough to do with those numbers for sure. Find an equation given this information. So in other words, we're starting with 0, 0, and then 5, 0 is the focus, right? So I know this parabola kind of opens to the right. So it's an x equals parabola. The form would be x equals ay squared. This is a very simple one, right? This is not one where we've shifted this around. It says that the vertex is at the origin. So I'm using my old formulas for this one. So that distance of C, so C is equal to a +5. So C equals +5. So A equals 1 over 4 times C. So 1/20. So my equation would be x equals 1/20 y squared. Directrix is, so there's the vertex. Directrix is y equals -4. So dotted line right there. So at positive 4 would be here. So I know it kind of opens up. So it's of the form y equals ax squared, because the vertex is at the origin. I'm using those formulas. So the c value there is positive 4. So c equals 4, which means a equals 1 over 4 times c, which is 4. So a equals 1/16. So my equation is y equals 1/16 x squared. Find an equation in the circle that satisfies the given conditions. So circle, the formula is, x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. It's the equal sign. So x minus 3 squared. Notice that's a positive 3, but it says minus 3 there. Plus y plus 1 squared equals 9. Careful on this one, you might want to write the radius, which is 4 there. So this would be x plus 2 squared plus y plus 1 squared equals 16. It's a plus. Find the equation of the circle. So let's identify the center. This would be, I guess this is x, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So that looks like negative 4, 1. It might be helpful to write that. The radius looks to be 2. So the formula would be x plus 4 squared plus y minus 1 squared equals 2 squared, which is 4. Equation of the ellipse. So it just helps to kind of visualize it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Way up there at 9, but only at 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4. Oh, wait. I did that wrong. So at 4 is like right there. So this is definitely a vertical one. So the vertices are up there. Let me redo that. I wasn't thinking there for a second. Okay, so 9, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So like right there is my vertices. So this is horizontal. My co-vertices, 1, 2, 3, 4. So right there. So I go over 9, down 4. We've got our ellipse. It's definitely horizontal. So my a value, if you look at the formulas, is going to be 9. My b value is going to be 4. So it is horizontal. So the a value, a squared, is beneath x squared. So it's going to be x squared over a squared, which is 81, plus y squared over b squared, which is 16, equals 1. This one, again, I just like to sketch it. So 5, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the focus. The co-vertices, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I know that b equals 4. I know that c equals 5. You need that formula, c squared. I think for ellipses, a squared minus b squared. So this would be 25 equals a squared minus 16. So 31, 41 equals a squared. So a equals the square root of 41. So my formula would be, this is definitely, so it's like this kind of ellipse, horizontal. So x squared over a squared, which is 41, plus y squared over b squared, which is 16, equals 1. Graph the ellipse. So these are ellipses. It may not look like an ellipse at first. You have to divide by 64. So we get equals 1. This is y squared over 16. And 16 goes into 64 4 times, right? Because we just did that one. So I'm going to start with, vertically, I'm going up and down 4. Horizontally, I'm going right and left 2. It's basically my ellipse, but I think I have to identify the focus points. So c squared equals 16 minus 4. So c squared equals 12. So c equals the square root of 12, which is about 3 point something. So when we go 3 point something up, that's a focus point. 3 point something down, that's a focus point. I'm going to use the formula. I think the formula is 0 comma plus or minus c for this type. So this would be 0 comma plus or minus square root of 12, or maybe I should say 2 root 3. 2 root 3 instead of square root of 12 would be simplified. And this one, that's an interesting one. Okay, so vertically I'm going up and down 4. It's another vertical one. Horizontally going right and left to square root of 1, which is 1. So it's really skinny here. And then c squared, a squared minus b squared. So c squared equals 16 minus 1. C squared equals 15. So c equals the square root of 15, which is like almost 4, 3.9-ish, down 3.9-ish. It's right inside there. The focus is right inside of that. On the major axis there, the ordered pairs would be 0, comma, plus or minus square root of 15, which I don't think simplifies. Ellipses graph is shown, so it looks like the a value would be 4. The b value would be 2. And the hk would be 3 comma negative 2. So let's just plug into our new formulas, which are, x minus h over the bigger number, a squared, would be 16, plus y plus 2 is minus k over 4, that's b squared, equals 1. Be sure to label its vertices as asymptotes. Oops. So this is a hyperbola, so let's remember that. So our points start out the same. Underneath y, I'm moving up and down 5. Underneath x, I'm moving right and left 4. But I'm going to make my dot box instead of drawing an ellipse. It's very tempting to draw an ellipse sometimes. Draw your dotted vertical lines as the asymptotes. Hit the y terms first, therefore this is vertical, so this is the vertex, this is the vertex. The hyperbola is going to go through those points. Kind of look roughly like that. And we'd like to graph the focus, so we need the c squared equals a squared plus b squared. So 25 plus 16 is 41. So c equals square root of 41. So I'd go square root of 41 up, which is like 6 point something, and then that's a focus point, and then 6 point something down. The ordered pairs would be 0, comma, plus or minus square root of 41. This one has a different center, right? So the center, the HK, would be at 2. It helps to write it out, especially when you're starting out, 2 comma negative 1. So that's your center, that's your starting point. You go up 4 from that, 1, 2, 3, 4, down 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, to the right 2, to the left 2, make my dot box, draw my dotted horizontal lines. This is x is first, it's horizontal, so these are my vertices, so the hyperbola looks like this. It goes through that point, sorry, missed that a little bit. And then the focus point, c squared equals 4 plus 16 is 20. So c equals square root of 20, which is 2 root 5, which is about 4 point something. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4 point something to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4 point something to the left. Those are my focus point. You might want to use your formula. I think it's h, which is 2, plus or minus c, which is 2 root 5, comma k, which is negative 1. Those would be the ordered pairs. Center of the origin. Okay, so again, sometimes it's a good idea just to kind of sketch it out. So 0, 6, that's a focus point. Same thing, somewhere down there. Vertices is 0, 3, so 0, 3 is a vertex. 0, negative 3 is a vertex. So my A value is equal to 3. My C value is equal to 6. C squared equals A squared plus B squared. So 36 equals to 3. 9 plus B squared. So 27 equals B squared. So B equals square root of 27, or let's see, that would be 3 root 3 plus or minus. No, it's just B is just that, not plus or minus, which is about 5 point something. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a little bit there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a little bit. And you make your dot box with your vertices. Draw your dotted lines, graph it. We don't have to do all that, by the way. So we know it's definitely vertical. If you look at those focus points are vertical from each other. So the y term is first. So y squared minus x squared. For this, the a term is always underneath the vertices there. So this would be 3 squared, which is 9. And square root of 27 squared is 27. It's okay, the bigger numbers underneath that is still vertical. With a hyperbola, that's how it works. First term tells you that, the y squared term. Okay, so this is a little tougher. So this is going to be 1, comma 1 is my h and k. It might help you to write that. It looks like the a value, which in this case is vertical, a would have to equal 2. And the b value would have to equal 3 because it's a vertical that's always underneath. It's going to be vertical. So y minus 1 squared over a squared, which is 4, minus x minus 1 squared over b squared, which is 9, equals 1. There's the answers. And that's it.